As an architect, I've seen countless development tools come and go, but every once in a while, you stumble on something that isn't just another tool. It's a whole different way of thinking. And this one has a massive, almost secret following. 145,000. Yeah, that's how many stars this thing has on a single GitHub repo. We're not talking about some popular library here. This is a full-on agentic framework that works more like a formal methodology, and apparently thousands of developers are already in on it. So what's the big secret? What have they all figured out? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about writing better prompts. It's about fixing the fundamentally broken process we all use when we ask an AI to write code. It's about forcing discipline into what's currently total chaos. Okay, let's be honest for a second. The code we get from most AI agents, it's a mess, right? It might work, kind of, but it's usually brittle, completely untested, and has zero design thought behind it. This is a real problem, and it even has a name. We were promised this autonomous coding partner, an intelligent assistant. But the reality? It's often more like an undisciplined junior engineer who just pounds out code, hates writing tests, and then leaves you to clean up the entire mess. That mess? That's agentic slop. So this is where Superpowers comes in. It tackles this problem head-on. But it's not a gentle suggestion for the AI. No. It's a rigid, systematic framework that literally forces the agent to act like a disciplined senior engineer. It imposes a real methodology right from the start. And here's the core architectural pattern behind it all: sub-agent-driven development. Instead of having one massive, monolithic agent trying to keep the entire project in its head, the framework spins up brand new, specialized sub-agents for every single little task. This is huge because it prevents that context drift we all hate and makes sure every piece of the puzzle is handled by a focused expert. And look at this mandatory workflow. I say mandatory because none of this is optional. Before a single line of code gets written, the agent must go through a brainstorming phase to create a spec. It must work in an isolated Git worktree. And the real key to the whole thing, it is forced to follow test-driven development. And this is the crucial point. The system doesn't just encourage good practice, it enforces it with an iron fist. If the agent tries to write implementation code before it has written a failing test for that code, the framework just deletes it. Gone. No questions asked. That's discipline built right into the system. But okay, let's be real. This isn't some silver bullet you just install and forget about. To get this level of rigor, you, the developer, have to completely change how you think about working with AI. This is a professional-grade toolkit, and it comes with professional-grade requirements. So let's be clear about the trade-offs. You need the right setup, for example, specific plugins for Claude or Cursor. And yeah, it's probably total overkill if you just need a quick 5-line script. But the biggest hurdle? You have to stop chasing that perfect magic prompt and start thinking like an engineer, using a repeatable, verifiable process. And that's what this all boils down to. It's the core difference between this framework and how pretty much everyone else uses AI today. We're talking about methodology versus magic. These are two completely different ways of engineering software. This chart just lays it all out. With generic prompting, the design phase is, well, it's usually skipped, let's be honest. Here, it's a mandatory Socratic dialogue. Testing, usually optional, an afterthought. Here, it's an enforced red-green refactor loop. Debugging goes from just guessing and reprompting to a systematic process. The result is a shift from wildly variable code quality to something consistent, reviewed, and backed by actual tests. This quote from the project's own philosophy really says everything. Systematic over ad hoc, evidence over claims. It's about building a system that you can rely on because it follows a process, not because you had a hopeful conversation. It's about proving success with tests, not just trusting the agent's output. That's what separates professional methodology from a clever trick. So this leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Is forcing this kind of strict, almost dogmatic engineering discipline onto our AI agents the final step before they can work on their own? Or is this just the beginning of a new, more structured partnership between human architects and AI implementers?